Welcome back to our life out in the country and our epic bedroom makeover. We are in the middle of transforming this old bedroom into a new bedroom. We want to really transform this whole house from a mobile home into like a solid lifetime structure. It's just going to be awesome. So far, what have we done? We've gutted the room. We moved insulation out of the exterior walls. We beefed up the studs. You can see, can you see? Added these 2-inch strips of 2x4 so that we have a 5.5-inch thick wall for more insulation. We reinforced our ceiling joists with 2x6s to hold the weight of drywall and better structurally support the old trusses. We are just moving right along on this whole project. It's coming out really awesome. Believe it or not, we're already at the stage of electrical work. There's no electrical in the room right now. So I'm going to take a few minutes to look over my plans and make sure everything is where I want it. We got to plan out the lights, get them exactly where we want them, the outlets exactly where we want them. We'll come back and show you the layout. So this is what I was doing here. I wanted these outlets to be right here. So I put a space here. I measured them out 24 inches from the wall. And so I just built these, I put these spacers in to put the outlet exactly where I wanted it. Because I'm using these adjustable outlets, I had to notch out this stud so that these little clips could go in. Screwed it on. That's all set. You're wondering why there's two here. This is an outlet, this is a switch. You'll see why we're doing a switch here in a little bit. And now these should be symmetrical on either side of the room. So far, we got an outlet there, there. This is pretty easy. I just mark the center of where I want my outlet. And I'm using these adjustable boxes. And I really like these boxes because they get a nice strong grip. You can screw them to the stud instead of trying to nail them in. And after they're in, you just turn this screw and you can slide them out, way out. If you want to ever add wall coverings, wood, anything, you can just screw it out flush with your wall surface. I love that. So I find my center mark and I line it up in that hole. And I put it on at an angle to get those teeth to grip. Then lock it in, check it. Looks good. And then screw it in place. Alright, I more or less have my outlets installed where I want them. I think they're all good. Now I'm going to start installing light boxes. I'm going to start with these. There's going to be an outlet, there's going to be a switch, and we're going to have a light. So in designing, Ash and I have decided to have built-in lighting next to our beds instead of a table lamp. We don't like lamps because you hit them, you knock them over, whatever. They're clutter, they collect dust. So we've opted to install a switch next to the bed on either side, low, so that you can reach it comfortably from bed. And we're going to have a light fixture in the ceiling with a pendant light hanging over the side stand. It's going to be a pretty cool feature, but you only have one way to lay out the room. Alright, so I got my two lights in above where these will be. Switch when you're laying in bed, and here's the light. Nice and solid, hanging 1/2 inch from the ceiling. I'm going to have a center light in the room, but I'm also going to have a light over here. We're going to have kind of a center area. It's hard to describe, but it's just an open nook because we need a special desk spot for our room because we don't have a lot of room in the house. So we got to kind of turn this into a slash office area. I'm gonna have a light right above it. And now, I like these kind of light fixture boxes because they're so versatile. You can put this light wherever you want. It'll basically sit between the ceiling joists, right? And you just slide this where you want, and you tighten down those screws. So it's really flexible as to where you put it, and it's really strong because it's held on both sides. Now, the problem is when you buy them, they're like this. And I have to go over the top of this thing. And you can see that puts it too high. But don't be afraid of flipping this over, I'll show you. So we just loosen these up. And now, instead of this, we just turn it upside down. Let's get this back on. Just like that. I'm not going to tighten it up yet, but now the bracket is upside down. I can put it in here. I can put it in here a lot lower now so that it's actually hanging down. In fact, a hair too much. We'll adjust it so it hangs a half an inch, tighten it up where we want it. But that's all you gotta do is flip those brackets around if you do need more room for some kind of odd situation like that. It's that easy, a couple of screws, tighten it up. I think that's good. Ashley has joined me, so now we're gonna get some work done even faster. You can see I got the ceiling lights all done. There's the center light, there's the light between the closets, these lights over here. Now it's time to drill holes. I'm going to drill some holes in the floor to the outlets, and next step is wiring, so this should go pretty quick. Okay. We're in the middle of wiring up our bedroom, and we got a lot of work done, but we didn't film it. Let me catch you guys up to date on where we're at. Basically, you'll see that we got our electrical boxes in the wall, and you see we already got wires run. I didn't film it because honestly it was a lot of work under the house, and it's very dark in the crawl space and very dusty and dirty. I didn't want to drag the camera around down there.
Yeah.
And
I was just up here grabbing the wire and putting it in the box.
In the box. So basically,
it wasn't that exciting.
Yeah, basically what we did was just run wires in the crawl space from one box to the next box to the next box, and all you would have seen is us pulling wires up through the floor. So it was kind of not worth showing, but let me take you around the room and show you where we're at and what we're doing. We have our light switch box with the wire coming up. This is its own circuit from the rest of the room. I also built this blocking in here, and that's because we're going to be putting a wall heater in, an electric wall heater, which I have right here. I pulled it out just so I could make sure I had the right measurements. So the wall heater, I just wanted to make sure that these brackets had a solid surface to screw into and not just a drywall. While I was doing that, I ran the heater wire. Now the heater wire doesn't need a box like that because it has its own box built in. Electric heaters don't need an outlet box in the wall because the wire will go straight into the unit itself. So I have this is the heater, that's its own circuit, the light is its own circuit, and now we got the outlets. I decided to put junction boxes in the crawl space, which is just electrical boxes where we splice wires together, so that we only have one wire coming up to each box. They're spliced in the crawl space, that way everything is accessible in case we ever want to change, add, take away, anything. So, got a wire here, wire coming up here, a wire coming up here. We'll have one on this wall, but we didn't do that yet because we're waiting for a special box. By putting the junction boxes in the basement, it's actually super simple to add that later. I can insulate this and it's all done. I don't have to worry about it.
And also what's nice is that we don't have holes and wires going through all of our walls in here.
That's a good point. We didn't want to do the typical run the wire all the way through, and then we have to cut all of our insulation to fit around the wires.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that the wires are pulled, we're going to staple them in. We'll show you that, and we'll keep working on this project. There we go. You got to remember on these small studs to keep them away from the face. Your wires should always be at least 1.25 inches away from the face of your stud. Down here, I added these blocks of wood in. Because of the way the house is built, there's a joist running the length right here. So I had to bring the wire closer to the front than normal. So I added this block of wood in so I can put a nailing strip, a guard, like a metal plate right here. There it be. Now that everything's stapled in, I gotta run the rest of my wires, which means from here to the light. And I guess I'll do them all right now. Now, because this is only going from the outlet to the light switch to our bedside lights, you might be tempted to use a lower gauge wire, but you gotta continue with the 12 gauge if you're doing a 20 amp circuit. So it has to be whatever the outlets are on. That feels good. Now it's time to do the ceiling lights, and I want to talk about this box I put in too. I didn't show that earlier. That is for the smoke alarm. I almost forgot to put that box up. So, light, smoke, and light. So I'm going to do the light because we're going to have 3 wires coming out of this light box. I'm going to be putting a nailer here. Actually, I'm going to be extending that one because I don't have enough room to hook the wires. I'll show you what I mean. That's better. So basically, we're going to be going through here, and I'm just going to shove it right between there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And now, the main light. And that comes out on this side, I think. There it is.
Wow.
We are, I believe, done. And I wish we had light in the room right now because it'd be easier to show you, but here it is. Light coming in. We got 3 coming up. We got the ceiling light, this light over here, and then it's just going to be a power to the smoke alarm. The smoke alarm is going to be on the light circuit. That's good, but I'm going to do from this one to the next one to the next one. So this is going to be the main power going up, and then from there we're going to link them together using a 3-wire cable. Basically, when you hook up wired in smoke detectors, there's the power, there's 2 wires, and then there's usually a 3rd wire, like a red wire, used to link all the detectors together, so if one goes off, they all go off. This is going to be the first one on the circuit. So from there on, I'm just going to link it over to the next room. So it'll be fine. Just to let everybody know I know what I'm doing on that. So this is all set. Again, the heater is wired. The outlets are all done. These are going to be light switches, very low, so you can lay in bed and turn your light on. This is all going to be kind of custom, so you got to imagine a pendant light hanging down, like a shade of some kind, on either side of the bed, over the nightstands. Very built in, I know. We just like it that way. So that's why the light switches are so low. And back here, I'm going to be doing a recessed outlet You'll see that later. I just don't have the box I wanted, so I ordered it, but I'll link that up later. So I think this stage of the project is finished. Wiring is done in the room.
Mostly, except for that one box.
That's surprising. That went so fast.
Yeah.
It's not hooked to the breaker box yet. That's going to come later. We don't need power here yet until the room is done, so there's no point in hooking into live power. When we do, it's all going to be on GFCI, AFCI protected breakers. It's all going to be done totally 100% perfect. So we'll do that when we get to it. Right now the wires just go into the crawl space, into the junction boxes, and they're waiting to be hooked up. I could take you guys down there sometime. Maybe I will, but not today. I don't feel like getting dirty. The next step of this whole job is insulation. Can you believe we're up to insulation already?
It's exciting.
It is. So we're going to be pulling in the insulation and start putting that between the bays and get the plastic up, and then the room will be sealed in and a lot warmer. Be easier to work in here. So that's all we have for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know we didn't get a lot done, but electrical is a big step out of the way, and it's looking good. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, take care.
Bye.
Alright, just in time, got my nail plates on to protect the wires. This is the box that I've been waiting for to finish up this wall. I had to order this because I couldn't find the one I wanted locally, and it's basically a recessed outlet box, and you can see that once the outlet is in here, it'll be set back away from the surface of the wall, and also it has room in here for internet or television or whatever, phone, whatever kind of low voltage cables you want to run. I'm going to be putting this in this wall, and we're going to have a recessed outlet, and I'm also going to run internet to the room and maybe phone. And the reason is because this center part of our closets we're actually going to be using for a workspace, so I just want power and internet in there, but I don't want the wires sticking out so that you can't push a desk or a cart or a shelf or something up in here. So we're just going to recess the outlets. This is pretty cool. This is the cover that came off the front. But you can use it like an old work box, which means basically I could just cut a hole in the drywall, slide this in, and if I tighten up these screws, it'll slide that plastic piece forward and it'll clamp it right in place. Since I have the walls open, I can also use these screws to attach it to the studs just like that. So I'm going to measure this out, figure out where I want it screwed in, and I'll show you it when it's done. Well, it's in. It's really solid. Just going to pull my wire up through here into the box, and then we're all done. When I screwed it in, it did pull it back like 1/16 of an inch. Not happy about that, but it should be okay. Well guys, that's all I have to show for now, so until next time, take care.